Are the Knicks back?
Hey, man, you can turn it any way you want to. Back, forward, sliding, moonwalk. I don't give a damn. As long as you recognize the fact that there's something happening in Madison Square Garden.
The New York Knicks were playing great basketball for the first time in a decade, and you had a lot of people being happy about it, especially Stephen A. Smith.
There's something happening in New York City, Max Kellerman. I mean, hey, listen, man, let me tell you something. You got Julius Randle. He's averaging 23 and 11, shooting nearly 42% from three-point range, okay? I'm pleased. I'm very, very pleased, and he's worthy of being an all-star. I'm just getting a little bit emotional right now. Did you see the Knicks? Did you see those New York Knicks last night? Did you see them? Did you see them?
First of all, it's great for the NBA that the Knicks are doing good.
Well, I knew Coach Tibbs would come and do his thing, but this is beyond my expectations. We're in the playoffs.
Firmly entrenched in the fourth spot in the Eastern Conference. And the plans would begin today. They would play the Atlanta Hawks. They would have home court advantage. Now, I love that man, Trae Young. He's a baller. I like Collins and the crew. You know how I feel about my man, Nick McMillan. I'm proud that he's the coach in Atlanta. He didn't need to be in Indiana. You know that. But they would go down, okay? Which means the New York Knicks will be in the second round. Which means they'd be one round away from the conference finals. I mean, you see what's happening?
Whatever Stephen A. thought was going to happen obviously didn't, as the Knicks were in shambles.
Does this series even go back to Atlanta?
It's been a rough, a rough weekend. Trae Young is special. He's just special. But we going back to the ATL.
Unfortunately, the Hawks would win Game 5, the clincher to win the series and advance to the second round, where they would actually beat the 76ers in a 7-game series. Hey, that could have been the Knicks. Who knows? But the Knicks needed more offensive firepower to lessen the load on Julius Randle, and thus they signed both guards Kemba Walker and Evan Fournier. Over a week into the following season, the Knicks looked very promising.
Have the Knicks hit their ceiling as far as potential? I mean, how much better could you see them being in the short term?
It's interesting, Roz. I don't think you can answer that question fairly with a lump sum answer. You're going to have to look at each category. Is this team going to regress defensively this year? Legs? Yes, probably. They will not be as stout a defensive unit. Will they still be a good defensive team? Yes. But in the exchange for that, I got Evan Fournier, whose three-point ball is just as pure as they come. I've got Kemba, who does a tremendous job of pushing pace and get this team out of some of the stagnant ruts that we saw at points last year.
But we did have some breaking news this morning that Kemba Walker, Tom Thibodeau said, is out of the Knicks rotation.
The Knicks have been outscored by 13 points per 100 possessions, while Kemba Walker is on the floor. You can see the difference right there, and it's pretty stark.
1 month later, and the coach had to change his mind.
Kemba Walker, previously out of the rotation. Thibodeau straight up said that Kemba Walker was not going to be in the rotation, but because of availability issues, Kemba is back in the rotation.
In the Battle of New York, the Nets came on top as the game came down to a few possessions, and Julius Randle was seen complaining to the referees after the game. It got so tense that the coaches had to come in and separate them. After being asked about this, Randle had some pretty interesting things to say.
I can't be penalized for just being stronger than people, and that's an answer that I got today. Yeah.
They said that you're too strong?
Yeah, they said because certain contact doesn't affect me like it affects other players because I'm stronger, they miss the calls. It pisses me off even more, to be honest with you, because that's not how you officiate the game.
Is this an ongoing thing?
Yep.
A couple of weeks later, the Knicks hosted the Celtics, and after being booed over the last couple of games, Randle had this to say to the fans. After making a shot, he put his thumb down, and that caused quite a stir online.
Sticking with the Knicks here, Julius Randle. He scored 2 points in the win over the Spurs last night. Randle was booed off the court, while fans later chanted for his replacement, Obi Toppin.
They lost at Memphis, folks. Then they lost at Detroit in overtime. They got blown out in Toronto. They beat Boston, the only win they've had on this trip. They got blown out.
Game after game, Randle just was performing poorly, and the home fans had quite a lot to say.
Driving by Alvarado, and then he throws it away.
And he hears it from the crowd.
In this same game, Randle went 0-5 before ending the half with this putback shot, and you could tell he was not pleased with his performance.
Randle's first field goal, if it counts.
And he just got teed up.
The Knicks were in the top 4 in the East last season. Now they're in the bottom 4. And it's safe to say that although they had a good season last year, it was just a mere fluke.
Flashback.
Who do you think you guys are going to get? KD,
I think we're
Zion?
going to get KD, we're getting KD, we're getting Kyrie, and I called the government, the ball is going to drop, we're getting Zion. Everybody in Knick Nation, be patient. The rings are coming.
3 weeks later.
The third pick goes to the New York Knicks.
4 to 6 weeks later.
The New York Knicks select R.J. Barrett from Toronto and Duke University.
Several days later.
You lose Kevin Durant, you lose Kyrie Irving. That's bad. You lose them to the Brooklyn Nets. 20 minutes away. Not 20 miles, 20 minutes away.
8 hours later.
Let's go under the radar. Free agent moves yesterday, including Al Horford to the Sixers. We had Terry Rozier to the Hornets, Bogdanovich to the Jazz, Brogdon to the Pacers, Julius Randle to the Knicks, Patrick Beverley staying with the Clippers.
2 hours later.
It's a glass almost entirely empty. That's for you. And then also, I know the big free agent signing, I wanted to be the first one to get you a Julius Randle jersey. I hope you rock it. You rock it with pride. Molly, I thought they were supposed to get KD and Kyrie, the Knicks.
1 season later.
President Stephen A. What do you make of this hire by James Dolan?
I'm going to give it a chance.
Okay.
Of course you are. You got no choice.
Thousands of tears later.
Oh, they loved him for what he represented, and that was a star that maybe other stars would want to play with. And now if you don't have that, guys, and all you have is a team that has to settle for the play-in, then where are you going?
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!